Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome, 8th grade scholars, to today's explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here because we're looking at a truly fascinating curriculum all about nature's superpowers. Seriously, forget the comic books for a minute because the real biological marvels happening all around us are just spectacular. Today, we're unpacking this curriculum's take on the divine design behind how creatures survive, how our human actions impact them, and ultimately the moral responsibility it calls us to.
Here's our flight path for today. First, nature's ultimate survival tools. Next, amazing animal superpowers. Then we'll look at the bald eagle comeback, followed by the call to stewardship, and finally, smart minds, good choices. Let's get to it.
Part 1. Nature's Ultimate Survival Tools. So, what exactly is an adaptation? Well, to really appreciate the natural world, the text asks us to look at adaptations not just as random accidental changes, but as literal superpowers designed specifically for survival. Basically, an adaptation is a survival tool or trait that helps an organism overcome the unique, often harsh challenges of its specific environment. Whether we're talking about an Arctic fox facing sub-zero temperatures, a desert lizard battling scorching heat, or a rainforest frog navigating a highly competitive ecosystem, these aren't just neat little biological tricks, they're the fundamental protectors of Earth's biodiversity. Now, adaptations aren't just abstract scientific theories you only read about. Let's look at some real survival stories. We're going to examine some biological marvels happening right now across the globe to see exactly how adaptation plays out in nature. Moving to part 2, amazing animal superpowers. How animals conquer extreme environments. It's time for a deep dive into the what, why, and how of some incredibly resilient creatures. I really want you to actively think about this for a second. Imagine you live in an environment where half the year is brilliant, blinding white snow, and the other half is dark, earthy brush. What is one adaptation that helps the snowshoe hare survive that kind of extreme shift? Get this, the snowshoe hare actually changes its fur color with the seasons. During the freezing winter, it grows this thick coat of pure white fur, blending perfectly into the snow. But when summer rolls around and that snow melts, its fur actually turns brown to match the dirt and rocks. And this brilliantly illustrates the why. It provides absolutely perfect camouflage from predators. The how is just as cool. It's a biological trigger tied to the amount of daylight, literally signaling the hare's body to change its wardrobe to stay alive. Now, let's swing over to the absolute opposite extreme. Think about the driest, hottest deserts on the planet. Here's a seemingly impossible mystery for you. How does an animal survive without ever drinking water? Let's compare our two extremes here. The snowshoe hare masters freezing snow through camouflage, but the kangaroo rat, it masters the dry desert by getting all the moisture it needs metabolically, purely from the dry seeds it eats. Its body is so incredibly efficient at extracting moisture during digestion that it literally never needs to find a puddle. No water, no problem. Two completely different environments, two perfectly tailored survival superpowers. Which brings us to part 3, the bald eagle comeback. When superpowers aren't enough. We have to shift our tone a bit here because sometimes these incredible animal superpowers simply aren't enough to cut it. What happens when humans interfere? The curriculum asks us to consider a tough question. What caused the massive decline of the bald eagle population? How did human actions disrupt what the text describes as God's designed ecosystems? The tragic answer is human interference. When deforestation destroys habitats rapidly, animals simply cannot adapt fast enough to those unnatural overnight changes. Evolution and adaptation take time, right? Plus, pollution and pesticides, specifically a harsh chemical called DDT, ended up poisoning the food chains. The bald eagles were eating fish contaminated with DDT, which caused their eggshells to become so dangerously thin that they would actually break during incubation. Humans were destroying their habitats and poisoning their food way faster than the eagles could possibly adapt. Let's move to and see how this builds into an uplifting story of recovery, though. Step 1, as we saw, was the decline, becoming endangered due to that DDT pesticide and severe habitat loss. But step 2 is intervention. We realized our mistake, humans banned the pesticide and stepped in with habitat protection. And that leads to step 3, recovery. Given a safe environment, the eagles adapted to new protected areas, and their populations successfully rebounded. So this brings up a really critical question for us. What role do adaptations play in conservation efforts? Well, by studying how animals adapt, by truly understanding their superpowers and what they need to survive, conservation groups can effectively intervene. We use our knowledge of biology to give endangered species a fighting chance to bounce back.
That leads right into part 4, the call to stewardship, our responsibility to protect creation.
We're pivoting now from just scientific observation to our moral duty. Take a quick moment to reflect on this. How can humans help protect species from extinction? It's not just a job for scientists in white coats in laboratories. It's a collective responsibility for all of us. Our source material actually anchors this responsibility in Scripture. Proverbs 12:10 says, "The righteous care for the needs of their animals." The text explains that God calls us to be stewards, not just of the land, but of every single living creature. It argues that we're given the intelligence to understand these complex ecosystems precisely so we can care for and protect life. Within this framework, stewardship is actually viewed as a part of worship. The curriculum teaches that when we protect the delicate balance of these environments, we are directly reflecting the heart of the Creator. It presents conservation as an active, daily way to show respect for the design of the natural world. And finally, part 5, Smart Minds, Good Choices, the HeroesMart philosophy. This is where we look at the core HeroesMart philosophy, connecting the head knowledge we've gained with heart knowledge. So the crucial point of the Godly Learners series is this: education without morality will hurt. Think about it. You can know exactly how a hair changes its fur, or the specific chemical makeup of DDT, but if you don't have a moral compass guiding how you use that information, the source argues that your education is fundamentally incomplete. True intelligence requires a balance. You need head knowledge, understanding science, biology, and how the physical world works. But you absolutely must pair it with heart knowledge, applying biblical morality and an ethic of care. The ultimate goal, stopping bad choices that hurt the world. Because honestly, what is the point of being smart and supposedly educated if we just continue to make terrible choices that destroy habitats, endanger animals, and ultimately hurt ourselves? The curriculum grounds this whole idea in a powerful promise. Romans 8:6-7 promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their minds spiritual. Engaging deeply with both rigorous scientific education and grounded spiritual morality doesn't bring conflict at all. It brings true peace of mind. It perfectly aligns our actions with our understanding. We've looked at the incredible superpowers of nature, the devastating impact of human interference, and the moral call to care for creation. So, I'll leave you with this final provocative thought to ponder today. Will you use your education to be a steward who protects and heals the world?